Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally time to talk about my GOAT. And basically, if you like football, everyone's GOAT, Ronaldo. Now, as you all know, since December 2022, since that horrific World Cup, which we'll get onto, by the way, Ronaldo has been in the Saudi League. And since then, there's always been a point of discussion discussing whether he is still able to play in a top 5 league. And I am here today to do my due diligence and answer that question for everybody watching this video. But we need to go back to why he left in the first place. This guy had a horrendous 2022. He had Man United just absolutely on his back all the time. He had the tragic loss of his son, paired with the fact that his daughter was ill. He had no preseason. Man United didn't believe him at all. And if you play football, you know how much the mental side of football impacts your game. So Man United not trusting him after he's given absolutely everything to the club was bound to have a big impact on him. And then if we move to Qatar 2022 World Cup, this guy had a stinker, let's be honest. He had arguably the most disappointing World Cup campaign from a single player I think I've ever witnessed. I can't lie, them times I was a hardcore Ronaldo fan. Now I'm a bit more indifferent on it. I see them both as the GOAT. But back then, if you knew me, you knew how hardcore I was of a Ronaldo fan. So that World Cup was probably the most depressing time as a Ronaldo fan. We saw his arch rival Messi lift the World Cup. But it wasn't even the fact that Messi lifted the World Cup. It was that Ronaldo actually played the worst I think I've ever seen him play. And then a mere like what was it, 2 weeks later, he goes and announces his deal to Al Nassr. And obviously since then people have liked to claim that he's washed and he's trash and all that nonsense, but I'm gonna tell you why that is not true. Because everybody who says that, they're just not watching Ronaldo. This guy leaks goals every single game he plays. I mean, the last game he played, bro, it wasn't a tap-in. That is not a tap-in. Scoring a volley from like 30 yards out, that is not a tap-in. Last time I checked the definition of what a tap-in is. Like, for what I'm seeing, this guy's giving me vibes of Unk still got it. He's still got it. Obviously, you'll have people arguing that this guy is still washed. Obviously, I can't lie, after that Nations League final, guys were getting a bit overzealous. I can't lie. They were acting as if he didn't score the most basic goal I think I've ever seen. They were complimenting his movement in the goal. All he did was push Cucurella, bro. Any striker at any level would decide to do that and would score that goal. I'm sorry, I'm a Ronaldo fan, but that is just the truth. That is the harsh reality of that goal. So even in that moment, I was just a bit like, you know what? It's a basic goal. Like, guys are overreacting. But since the pre-season of the new season, what I'm seeing with Portugal, yo, this guy he looks sharp, you know. He looks faster. He looks more agile. He looks more like his old self when he's dribbling, scoring bangers. You know what? It's because he's trying to reach 1,000 goals. So we're just seeing him shoot from anywhere because he is desperate to get to 1,000 goals. We're gonna start seeing him shooting from corners. We're gonna start seeing him shoot from fucking goal kicks, bro. Al Nassr is gonna give him every single dead ball that they can. But we will be there. We will be there when Ronaldo hits 1,000 goals. I'm gonna be suited and booted, ready to attend the ceremony. And he's gonna hit that 1,000th goal in the World Cup final against, I don't know what country they're gonna play. Probably against England, because England, we love to get to finals and just lose in the final for no reason. So we'll probably play Portugal in the final and we'll lose. And to be honest, if Portugal beat us in the final, I don't care, bro. I'd be happy because Ronaldo is my goal. And if he wins the World Cup, then that will be the greatest World Cup win and the greatest redemption in World Cup history. But back to the main topic, can Ronaldo still play in a top 5 league? I believe so. I think the sort of dip in his form of the last couple seasons has been more just of a thing of a mental side of the game, especially in 2022. I mean, he had everyone on his back. He had Man United, he had the press in England. He obviously lost his son, which was tragic. His daughter was very ill. He missed pre-season that season, so he's obviously just not going to be as up to scratch as he would usually be. And obviously in a situation like that where a club sort of puts into question your morality and your professionalism, it's going to sort of make you sort of question yourself a little bit. And I know Ronaldo's a mentality monster, but at the end of the day, he is still human. So a situation like that would have definitely made him question himself at least a little bit, because we saw how just terrible he was, to be honest. He was awful. Even once he first got to Saudi, he was still terrible. I was seeing this guy try dribble and I was like, just hang up the boots, bro, because the game ain't for you no more. The World Cup, this guy was scoring Bluetooth goals, was doing absolutely nothing in the game, missing like 30 chances each game. And on the other hand, we were seeing Messi fucking create like 17 assists, score 25 penalties, and then run the whole show and not get red cards against Netherlands for some reason. But hey, we won't talk about that. But like I've said, since then, we've seen him flourish. And I'm sick of the notion that Saudi is not a top league. We saw in the Club World Cup how good Saudi clubs are now. Al Hilal beating Man City, you know, getting a draw against Madrid, which they could have very easily won that game. And if you just look at the caliber of players there now, even at Al Nassr, you've got Kingsley Coman, João Felix, Mane, Inigo Martinez, Laporte. These are top players that played in Europe not even that long ago. It's not even a retirement league anymore. It's sort of a half retirement retirement league. Like when you're ready to sort of not play at the top level anymore, you go to the Saudi league and you get a bag. I mean, they're even starting to sign young players. I mean, Al Hilal have signed Darwin Núñez, Al Ahil have signed Ivan Toney. They're starting to get a lot of young players, and I'm sick of the notion that the Saudi league is not a top league. And for Ronaldo to be dominating that league the way he is, cool, he hasn't won a trophy in that league, he hasn't won a league title, but he's been top goal scorer in basically every single season he's been there. So for him to dominate that way in a league that has clearly now been showing that it is a contender to be up there with some of the best leagues in the world, goes to show that this guy is not washed at all. And if he wanted to, realistically, he could play in a top 5 league. So there's my answer, people. I think Ronaldo is more than capable of playing in a top 5 league, and we're gonna see him back at the World Cup in 2026 in America if he's allowed to go there, because I don't actually know if he is, but we're gonna see him and he's gonna win the World Cup. And then if he wants to, he'll come to a top 5 league, because this guy's level, he's like Netero from Hunter x Hunter, bro. He gets better with age. He ages like fine wine, and I'm here for it, bro. I'm more than happy for him to retire at 50 years old and I watch him score and farm goals for another 10 years. I really don't care. But anyway, folks, that's all I have time for today. Bit of a different style of video. Wasn't really covering a topic that is sort of happening right now. It was more of just an overall topic. If you like more stuff, if you like stuff like this and want more, let me know. Also, let me know some topics to even talk about, because I'm not, you know, I don't really know, to be honest. But other than that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you guys all in the next video.